Now, I saw this video popped up on two different channels specifically. I didn't think Muujin would cover it, but but it doesn't really surprise me that Muujin would cover this one. But apparently, there was a Japanese cosplayer was stalked or so by a dude. I think we're like what was it, 10 years, right? 10 years, and I think the dude harassed her one day. I don't know. It was something like that. I'm not really too sure specifically, but that's basically is what I've seen. It is pretty interesting. Dude, why would you do that to see now? Okay, now this is the number one reason why I never want to show my face specifically, right? This is one of the reasons why, because people on the internet are just too crazy. That's why I will never ever show my face on the internet. But I will do cosplay in the future. But I will never ever. Yeah, for 10 years. 10 years stalked this girl right here on the thumbnail. For 10 years. For some godforsaken reason. I don't know what's wrong with you, to be honest. There's something wrong with you if you're stalking a girl for 10 years, to be honest. So yeah, like this is like yeah, I'm working out or so, right? I'm in a journey of like working out, specifically trying to slim down and work on my tone down and be lean and everything, right? For cosplay, of course, right? The only thing I need to work on is just doing the right workout specifically. I just need a weight scale to to do all my stuff. So oh yeah, no, but also the American side could be fucking weird too as well. Well, the Western side, I should say. The Western side can be a little bit weird. Remember, there was that one Twitch streamer, so that she wasn't at home or so, but then one of her fans showed up to her house and burned their car. You know, like there are some people that are pretty crazy on the Western side. Especially having this weird ideology that the Western side is having. I'm gonna be like, bro, man, I don't know, man. I prefer to keep everything hush hush for my specific information. I don't want to say jack shit about anything about where I am, where I'm from, or anything like that specifically. I like to keep that as super minimal as possible. That's why I didn't enjoy specifically that a lot of the Spanish people would be like, "Oh, where are you from?" or so, I'd be like, "I'm from the void." And they're like, "No, no, no, I want to know where you're from." Like, "No, no, 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 no. That's an information I will not say." So yeah, that's why I rather keep if I can keep as little information on the internet as possible, it is fine by me. I will keep it a buck. I will keep it as less information as much as possible. That's pretty much it. If I slip up, I slip up. That's fine. It's not a big deal, but I will keep it as minimal as possible. But anyways, let's go take a look and see let's take a look at the story or so of this person stalking this cosplayer so for 10 years, dude. 10 years is crazy.
When you get to a certain degree of fame, the odds of someone mentally ill tuning in to watch you increases. And one of the most mentally ill type of viewer is the one who would stalk you. Unfortunately, this happens to all sorts of celebrities, but the creepiness level and danger level of a stalker can vary greatly.
Oh, they stalked Miranda Cosgrove? Really? You're crazy, to be honest.
It typically involves someone breaching every aspect of your privacy. It can be due to obsession or just straight up delusion, thinking that they're owed that because they're such big fans of you or that you secretly want it. Both equally as creepy. But this is all nothing. Yes, this is all nothing compared to what occurs in Japan, because in Japan, you don't have to be famous.
Holy shit. Holy fuck. Are you serious? Part of me finds it wild that people not just show their face, but film their local park or whatever. Like, people find out where you live so easily. Oh yeah, no. People find out where you live really, 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 really quickly. That's what I don't do. I would never do IRL stream or anything like that. I'll take pictures and like record videos or so if I'm I guess going on vacation or something like that. But I will never ever ever stream live ever, to be honest.
to have stalkers. As this article puts it, Japan has a stalking epidemic. Even the average person can suffer through this. In fact, one quick Google search with Japan stalker as the keywords, and you'll see Reddit threads of foreigners complaining about being stalked. And many people in the comments can corroborate this. They agree, they've had their own experiences and they're talking about them. A few years back, there was this story about this normal, average foreigner, right? Not famous in any capacity, talking about her stalking experience. Many people couldn't believe it. They couldn't even begin to imagine how crazy this is. I'll show you a few seconds so you can understand. Watch.
You know the freakiest thing about living in Japan? As a woman, you get stalked.
I just woke up to something that I really hope no one else has to wake up to. My peephole was just pushed out of my door.
Do you understand now? This is horrible.
What the fuck? Yo, that's crazy in my personal opinion. Holy, okay. Okay. All right. That is, that's pretty concerning in my personal opinion.
Horrible. And again, not famous in any way. She's just a normal person living there, minding her own business. And yet, there's someone knocking down her peephole so that they can look through and see her private quarters, where she lives, where she should have privacy. This is what many people call the dark side of Japan, a side of Japan that no one really talks about, but it's very much there. And that's something that ex-idol and cosplayer Kikihime had to find out about the hard way. She's someone.
Oh, she's an ex-idol. Ooh, yeah. That usually does it. That's 100%. That's 100% will, yeah. If you're an ex-idol or so, you got those crazy ravenous fans.
Someone who fell in love with Japan as a teenager, and a huge passion in her life was to integrate herself in their culture while practicing things she loves like cosplaying. What she couldn't have ever guessed, though, is that out of all her fans, one of them in particular, a Japanese man way older than her, would make it his life's mission to stalk her for over 10 whole years. And on August 12th, 2024, very recently, there was a massive turning point. He ended up doing something to her in front of hundreds of people that most stalkers in Japan would never even dare to do, emotionally scarring her for life and making himself the Japanese internet's public enemy #1.
I'm trying to get a good guess what it would be. Something that would basically scar her. I was gonna say he probably like pulled his dick out or something like that, you know, or something crazy like that, you know. I think that would be I think that would be the most craziest one personally, but I don't know. I can't think of one.
Let's talk about it because it's absolutely crazy. Out of all the videos I've made so far talking about a number of people, I would argue that Kikihime's background is one of the most unique I've ever seen. She was born in Austria, and her introduction to Japanese culture was actually a video game gifted to her by her mother, called Tales of Symphonia. She didn't want to play it herself, she had her brother play it, and watching him play it made her realize, wow, I'm really into Japan and its culture, I want to know more. She ended up wanting to learn the Japanese language, but didn't want to do it the traditional way. She wanted to do it by talking to actual Japanese people.
Interesting. Come along with me and the butterflies and bees. We can wander through the forest and do as we please. Come along with me to a cliff under the tree where we can gaze on the water as an everlasting dream. What the fuck? Are you writing poems in here? Huh, Killix? You writing poems in here? This ain't poetry. This ain't a poetry session time.
So in 2010, when she was just 15 years old, she started uploading dance covers and live streaming herself on the website Nico Nico. Now Nico Nico, a lot of people call it Japanese YouTube. YouTube is definitely more popular, especially today, but back then Nico Nico still had a huge chokehold on Japanese.
Yeah, to some degree. To some degree. You're not wrong, Rallis. Yeah, definitely to some degree. Yeah, because I'm like, unfortunately, like I'm mixed race. Like I'm super mixed race. Okay, I am super mixed race. Okay, so I do have Japanese blood in me, but it's not as prominent as my Hispanic side. So because I was mostly raised Hispanically than Asian. You know, I don't really talk about it as much specifically, right? I mostly talk about mostly my Hispanic side just because, you know, I was just raised more Hispanically, so that's about it, you know. So but yeah, you know, later down the line Mama Azathoth, you know, started doing more Asian orientated stuff now. Uh just a little bit, not like a whole lot or anything like that later in life or so, right? But it's just mostly Hispanic. It's just mostly Hispanicness. So I don't really consider it too much personally, right? I don't really consider it, you know, like a super major part of like it's not like I identify myself completely like, oh yeah, I'm fucking Japanese. No, it's just like I'm just mostly Hispanic. That's it, you know. I was raised, you know, I was born, you know, raised that way. So that's pretty much it. So you know, even though yes, I do have the blood coursing into my veins specifically, but it's just mostly, you know, it's just mostly raised Hispanically. So even though like the Hispanic and Asian people do share a lot of similarity stuff, right? A lot of things they do share a lot of things similar, you know, but definitely I was just more raised Hispanically, so I hardly ever bring up my Asian sides. I just mostly bring like Hispanic stuff, you know.
Internet traffic. Many of its functions today are outdated or done already, but back then it was innovative in the way it handled live streaming. As you can see here, this is a random live stream from a band, and you can see certain messages being put on screen. This is the chat. This was innovative at the time. Like, this allowed interactability that just wasn't present on other websites like Twitch and YouTube. She would stream herself there, barely knowing how to say hello or thank you, but she'd actually end up getting a lot of attention, and she'd use Google Translate to translate the chat messages. According to her, this allowed her to become fluent in Japanese in just a year. At some point on stream,
wow, in 1 year? Damn, that's crazy to be honest. Sheesh.
She would have ginger hair, and her entire chat started calling her Asuka, the character from the anime Evangelion. And of course, when I say chat, I mean over 1,000 concurrent viewers, which is ridiculous, by the way. Just so you understand, 1,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch today in 2024 would put you in the top 0.06% of all streamers.
Damn, that's crazy. Having an average viewers of 1,000? That's crazy. I am not. Don't you dare come in here and say Latinx in here. Dude, do not say that word in my goddamn chat. Get that shit out of there. Leave that shit outside the door. It is Latino and Latina. That's it. I don't believe in Latinx or Latinx or however you want to pronounce it, okay? I feel like Latinx is such a slur, to be honest, but it's only Latina and Latinos in here, okay? All right? We don't go with these Western ideologies, okay?
But back in 2010, that was insane. I can't even fathom how crazy that was. This prompted her to eventually apply to the label Victor Entertainment. She says she didn't even send a demo.
Man, I don't. Bro. Also, the worst part about it is that your name is Cthulhu too as well. That's my freaking cousin there. it ain't that serious in here, okay? All right? It's not that serious, all right? Don't worry about it. Okay. I'm like, I'm not part of this weird Western ideology that they decided to come up a word or so-called Latinx or Latinx or whatever. You know, I honestly despise that word personally. So, goddamn, what would a percentage be back then? I don't know, to be honest.
demo tape, a video, or even photos. In her opinion, it was a very naive try, but they still got back to her and was able to even join the idol group when she was only 16 years old on an entertainment visa. She had become a part of the Japanese idol group known as Tone Jewel and released.
Whoa, wait, she literally joined an idol group? Whoa, the dude at the age of 16 too? Damn, that's crazy.
3 different albums. As you can see, this is on Amazon Music.
Try not to gaslight the new people, because the new people are gonna take that serious dubstep. Remember, you know, if you mess around or so with some of the new people or so, they're gonna actually believe you. To be honest, that's the worst part about it.
And she's right there.
They're not gonna remember dubstep. The new generation don't understand nuance and sarcasm. Trust me. I've met a few people or so when I joke around specifically. Unfortunately, they kind of flies over their head. Unfortunately, with some of the new generation. So.
Right. There was even a Crunchyroll article written about the band back in 2012.
Unfortunately.
And funnily enough, you can see Tone Jewel, a high school girls' idol unit, consists of 2 Japanese and 1 Australian. It's because Japanese don't know Austria as a country. They think whenever someone says Austria, they're referring to Australia. She ended up leaving Tone Jewel in 2014, 2 years after joining, due to visa.
I see. So she's Australian. You know, it's kind of funny or so. Specifically, like I've noticed that a lot of like Australians usually go visit Japan and all this other shit. You know, all this other stuff. You know,
Visa issues, but.
Good luck with that if you're gonna try to train the new kids. To be honest, dubstep. I wish you luck on that one.
During those 2 years, she managed to do quite a few fan meetups, meeting up with fans and getting to know them. This is where Japanese idol culture comes in. An idol is typically someone who sings and does other things like acting or dancing, but they're also seen as a role model, as someone who's perfect. They can't make mistakes.
What do you mean flavor? What are you talking about? You talking about race? I prefer not to say that on the internet, personally. I'm trying to give as less information on the internet as much as possible. I'd rather not the internet know what the fuck I'm from, so, you know.
Their private lives are typically very tightly controlled by their agencies. They barely can do anything. The slightest scandal, even them dating someone, would be cause for concern enough to ruin their entire careers. Their demographics are typically, you know, the men you see here, people who are single and who have good...
Damn, man. You know, hey man, I'm not gonna say anything, but like, you know, your average fan right here, chat. This is your average fan right here.
Good money. This means that the idol culture is indeed seen as controversial when it comes to certain areas. The idea here is that you're building a strong parasocial relationship with your fans. To some, this means business. To others,
Can't see
this
shit
means
on
taking
mobile.
advantage.
Describe the funny man, please. No. I'm not gonna say anything about Mr. Freddy. Oh my bad. Damn, 1 minute only catching L's with chats today. No, you're good. You're fine. Don't worry about it. So it's not a huge deal. Yeah, no, it's because the internet's too crazy, man. I don't want. If I can give less information on the internet as much as possible, it's fine by me, you know. So if I slip up on something small, then I slip up on something. But I try to keep it as minimal as possible, because I know how the internet is. There's too many crazy people on the internet, man. You give them the smallest information, they're gonna fucking go wild with that information. So, and also, I'm not a fan of this parasocial relationship either, too. I do not approve of this shit all in my chat either, too. If you start doing weird parasocial relationship in my chat, I will fucking yeet you harder than Tom Brady making the football touchdown, you know.
Of them. What makes it even more controversial is that some idols were taken a step further, and during fan meetups or when they're with fans, they will straight up tell them, "I love you." This in turn will create extremely obsessive fans, people who will want to give you all their
chat. I hate you. There you go. See, that's how you fix the parasocial relationship.
their money and spread word about you to
You
everyone.
know, they say I love you, right? You just gotta say the opposite. That's pretty much it, you know. I hate you, Chad. I hate you.
But it also has downsides, like stalkers. Now, what doesn't help is that there are cases of idols straight up marrying their fans.
What does this say? Popular Japanese idol marriage to a 27-year-old fan caused a stir online. Yuki Tome, a 21-year-old former Japanese idol, has caused a stir online with her story and how she got married to a much older male fan. What's the difference, you know? Gives him PTSD. Are y'all calling mom are in danger?
Like, this was
She's
a
really
big
cute.
story back in 2023. This idol, this
She's really cute.
21-year-old idol, married this 27-year-old man who met her when she was 17. This only
Wait, can you say that? Can you say that one more time real quick? Can you say that one more time real quick?
21-year-old idol married this 27-year-old man who met her when she was 17. This only
Interesting. Well, granted, because she was an idol or so at 17, but like, that's kind of weird, man. Kind of weird, bro.
emboldens people more to think, oh, you know, I have a chance with my idol. It happens all the time. Now, Kikihime did not use any of these cheap tricks. When she would do fan meetups, she would never tell anyone that she loved them or would want to marry them. She was just very nice and cordial. But
I
unfortunately,
think that's the wrong fucking redeem to use, to be honest.
that's all it
That is
takes
definitely the
sometimes for
wrong
someone
redeem
to be
to use.
obsessive about you. She would typically have fan meetups with her friend, and there wouldn't be more than 10 people. They were fairly small. She had great experiences getting to meet these people, really appreciating the fact that they would go out of their way just to meet up with her. But there was one fan in particular, someone who seemed normal at first, but would end up tormenting her for the next 10 years of her life.
Dude, that's crazy, dude. 10. Of course. Of course, the average fan right here. There it is, chat. This is the average fan.
This guy right here would initially be normal according to her. You know, he was just another fan. But after meeting up with her, he would start to develop some very mentally ill attitudes. He would start messaging her on social media and emailing her some very sudden confessions of love, saying things like, I love you so much, and I know that you love me. I'm very well aware that you love me. So I want to meet up with you ASAP because I have some very urgent, important things to tell you. Now, at the time, of course, she was still trying to understand Japanese culture and the way to talk to people properly under certain situations. The girl was barely 18. This was very confusing to her.
She was barely 18. She was barely 18. And she's not Japanese. She's Australian. So there's a huge difference there. You know, there's a huge difference. She doesn't know. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, man, dude. I didn't think this would get weird, man, but it definitely sure does get a little bit weird.
So she ignored it. She ended up going back home to Austria after leaving the idol group due to visa issues, but then eventually found her love of cosplaying and remembered the days where people would call her Asa.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. When I get the chance to do my first like photo shoot for cosplay, dude, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna be so smiling. I'm gonna have such a big smile or so when I get to do it. It's gonna be so great. I'm gonna love it, to be honest. I can't wait. I can't wait when that happens. That'll be the day. That'll be the day when I get to do cosplay, and I'm just gonna have so much fun with it. So
on live streams. This is when she'd make it a point to go back to Japan and participate in the cosplay culture there. But what was really unfortunate was that she could have never been able to predict or assess how mentally ill her stalker truly was. there would be multiple instances that would leave a mark on her mentally for the rest of her life. The first one was 2 years after she had left the idol group. She was still under 20 years old according to her, and she wanted to go to Comiket. Comiket stands for Comic Market in English, and it's the largest fan convention in the world. And while it mostly focuses on self-published books or doujins, it's also very famous for its cosplay.
No, I'm not charging people. Shut the fuck up. I will not show my face 100%. So the only people who get to see my face are my closest VTuber friends. Yeah, so.
Playing scene where some of the biggest on the planet go to show off their costumes. And since Kikihime wanted to get into cosplaying seriously and loved Japan, Comiket was a match made in heaven for her. But the trip there ended up being more like the 7th layer of hell. She took a plane from Austria to Japan, and when she landed, she let her fans know that she was at the airport, and if anyone was there, she'd love to meet them. As Kikihime got off the plane and was in the airport, 2 fans met up with her, took pictures, had nice conversations. It was overall a great time. But then, as they were leaving, she saw a 3rd fan in the distance. And this time, it was a familiar face. The same person who had spammed her on all her social media accounts, who had sent her countless emails, and who wouldn't let her go even when she went to Austria. Someone she hoped she'd never have to see again. Her stalker. Immediately, without any second thought, she took her baggage with her and walked in the opposite direction of where he was coming from. She kept walking and walking, going up the escalator, down the escalator, one side of the airport to the other side of the airport. He kept following her, and he wasn't even trying to hide it. At this point, she was getting desperate, and who wouldn't be? She needed to get on a train to leave the airport and go to where she wants to go. But she didn't want him to know which train she's taking so that he can follow her there too, potentially to where she's staying. Kikihime knew that this guy was not going to stop following her no matter what, so she went to the police station in the airport to hopefully scare him off. But even as she was speaking to 2 police officers at the front of the station, he still did not stop and was still heading towards her as she was speaking to the officers. But thankfully, since she speaks fluent Japanese, the officers understood what she meant immediately, and they separated both of them in 2 different rooms at the station. Now, at this point, she finally got a moment of peace. She was safe. And while she was hoping that she was going to feel safe even after leaving the station, she was about to face a very grim reality. We only know what happened from her point of view, of course, since the stalker hasn't really told us his side of the story. But the police essentially said, hey, listen, we understand this sucks, but our advice is that you just don't go to Comiket. And of course, she was shocked. She was like, wait, what? That's the solution for me to get screwed over? Can't you do anything? And the police...
Damn, dude. Gotti to see Ko's face become VTuber. Try to collab with Ko. Warning, never play Uno with Ko. Become friends. Mission to complete. Okay. Alright, buddy. Okay, buddy. That's not gonna work, okay?
Police said no. He didn't actually commit a crime. And until he does, we can't do anything. This was Kikihime's first experience with the Japanese police, and it was disappointing to say the least. She wasn't going to let the stalker win, so she told the police, you know what? I'm gonna go to Comiket anyway. She left to go take her train while the stalker was still at the police station before he was released too. So thankfully she was able to take her train without him following her, but her concern was that he was going to show up at Comiket. A day passes, and before you know it, she is at Comiket walking around the expo. She put on her costume, was getting her pictures taken by photographers, talking to fans, but of course a part of her was nervous over the fact that the stalker knew she was there. Then suddenly, 2 police officers she'd never met before came up to her. It turns out that the officers from the airport had sent these 2 people to check up on her. But the only description they gave them was that she was a foreigner, so they just walked around the whole expo and found her. She appreciated that. And you know what? It turned out that the stalker had not come to the expo. It seemed like he was spooked from the incident at the airport. This made her hopeful, thinking that, you know what? He probably got scared. Now that he saw the police in action, he would never dare to do this again. I wish that she was right, but of course, it was wrong. He wouldn't stop there. Around 2 years passed by since the airport incident, and this time we're in the Tokyo Game Show and Kikihime is cosplaying as usual. She would, as always, meet up with fans and photographers. At some point, one of these photographers was taking pictures of her, and as she was posing, she noticed out of the corner of her eye, someone she never wanted to see again looking at her straight from the crowd.
Damn, dude. Damn, this is some kind of like what is this? God, this kind of reminds me of some kind of like really absurd anime, to be honest.
Her stalker. At this point, she was nervous, and why wouldn't she be? She still tried her best to pose for the picture though, and as the photographer was checking to see if the pictures turned out well, the stalker slowly walked towards her and kept getting closer and closer to her. She froze in place, not knowing what to do, and before she could even think, he lunged at her and went for the kiss.
Oh, wow. When I think that the Tokyo Game Show 2 years ago or so, where a stalker of mine came up to me and tried to kiss me and continued to follow me wherever I went, also in other events, makes me feel relieved that there weren't any events during my stay that I could go to after school, after all. Oh my goodness gracious me. Wow, that is crazy. If I was her, I would ask some male friends to guard me or even pay for security for these events, just to let the stalker know you can be in the same place as me, but never near me. Yeah, that is very interesting. Hello, NT. Thank you for the followers. So welcome. Dude, that's crazy in my personal opinion.
Thankfully, at that point, she reacted very quickly, dodged it, and kicked him. According to her, after the kick, he was very shocked. He had a look on his face that confirmed pretty much to 100% accuracy that he was fully expecting her to reciprocate. He genuinely thought, in his own delusions, that she was going to kiss him back.
He insisted on the fact that I must love him and be together with him, and also stalked me on the airport and other occasions. I got the police involved, but basically they said they can't do anything until he gets physical. So when it's too late, right? Yeah, unfortunately that's how it is over there in Japan, you know. I'm like, well, at the end, if you look at it at this perspective, the police are not wrong. There's not really like he didn't do anything physical, so which unfortunately that's the grim reality, of course. So they're not wrong, but they're also not right either. So because I don't think stalking is like a huge law, like super heavy law kind of type of thing over there compared to the Western side.
The kick left him so shocked that he ended up leaving her alone, thankfully, but she was still very marked. At this point, when you see the same person over and over, when that person keeps sending you weird emails, even when you're in Austria, outside of Japan, when they're willing to wait for you at the airport, this starts to really play tricks on your mind. You never trust anyone again. You never want to get out of your house. It's rough. A year passes by, and we're now in 2020. The pandemic is in full swing. Kikihime had unfortunately moved to Japan during that year on a one-year visa, hoping to do more cosplays and attend more events. But unfortunately, since it was the pandemic and lockdowns were in order, there were no cosplay events for a long time. She ended up going back to Austria without doing much. Until Summer Comiket 2024, the first event she can finally go to that is cosplay related. She was very excited because it's been a very long time since she even went to Japan.
Grab his dick and twist it!
Oh my god, dude, this is an MMA fight, dude.
You
Too much.
twist that dick!
Twist his dick!
Twist his dick!
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, dick twist!
Oh man.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Let me guess. Let me get a good guess. Is he gonna show up again to her? Dude, I'd be very curious. Okay, so it's 2024, right? Because this happened this year at least. So I'm curious what he basically did to make, public enemy number one.
And to do this, she talked about it on Twitter, how she's about to go and is preparing for the very hot weather, and even teased the character she was going to cosplay. This was her in the event, and in this tweet she says, "Finish changing, I'll go die on rooftop now." Speaking of the rooftop at Comiket, this is one of the most iconic places to take pictures in cosplays. If you've watched any animes that relate to cosplaying, you have seen something similar to this. It gets crowded very
you for the
quickly,
follower,
and for
so
Summer
Toad,
Comiket
welcome,
2024,
so.
they had guidelines in place. They had designated
If she is in Australia, well, I don't know if it's Austria. He's saying Austria a lot, so maybe I don't know. So she could get a restraining order, but this dude will probably not even care and not sure how Australia enforces those kinds of orders. Yeah, I have no idea either. Too.
many different zones separated by barriers that cosplayers could go into, take their pictures, and leave without blocking oncoming traffic. This is exactly what Kikihime would do. She would get on the rooftop in the morning before it got too crowded, took some pictures, and then went back down. At that point though, she was being contacted by many photographers and fans that she hadn't seen in a very long time, so the rooftop made the most sense to be on. So even though it was really hot, she made this tweet right here saying, "Little break, spent 2 hours on the roof, I go again maybe in 1 hour," letting everyone know that she'll be there. As you can see, this is her on the rooftop with a photographer taking pictures of her, and she has her little signature suitcase with a sign linking her socials. This is something that she's been doing for a long time. This is the queue of all the photographers, so as you can see, she is fairly popular. At this point, she was still not in the designated areas. She headed there next, and while she thought that the only concerns for the day are going to be her posing and the heat, she was dead wrong, as she ended up being extremely marked and confused, as well as the hundreds of people around her attending Comiket after witnessing what happened next. She went ahead and got into her designated area. As you can see, there's a barrier separating her from the rest of the crowd.
Is that who I think that is in the background? No way, dude.
A familiar man that had been haunting her for over 10 years showed up right behind her. She had just posed in this area. The photographer had just barely pulled out his camera ready to take the first picture. This is when her stalker would jump the barrier behind her. She felt this happen and thought to herself, wow, this person must be in a hurry if they had to jump the barrier like that, but she was too focused on posing for the camera. And then before she knew it, I mean, she can barely recall this, she was grabbed from the back, tightly squeezing across her entire body. Her stalker had effectively jumped on her. He is significantly bigger than her and had her completely trapped in his arms. What's even more creepy and disgusting about this picture is that you can see him clearly grinning, probably enjoying this. She was absolutely caught by surprise here and was screaming her lungs out. She said that she was screaming so loud that the people 200 meters away from her could hear her. This was her worst fear come true. According to her, it felt like an eternity, but he ended up holding her maybe for around a full 10 seconds. Eyewitnesses around her report that they were also very confused, thinking, wait, is this a friend of hers? Like, what's going on? But after those 10 seconds had passed, they understood, oh no, like she's screaming her lungs out, this is not normal.
Oh, nah, dude. No, man. Oh, no. If I was there, I would fade him so quickly. Man, dude. Dude, that's terrifying. That's actually very terrifying, to be honest.
Attempted to wrestle him off of her, right? He was holding her so tight, multiple people had to wrestle him off of her because he wouldn't let go. And at that point, she was hyperventilating, tearing up, crying. She was practically having a panic attack. This is a recording of the aftermath.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. Take it easy on the redeems. We gotta take a look at this, okay?
After he had groped her the way he did, this is what happens. Watch, then I'll explain. So at this point, people are confused, they're questioning him like, yo, what's going on right now? And she tells everyone that, hey, this is my stalker. He's been doing this for years. And this guy has the gall to act shocked. He says things like, but I've been emailing you. I've been sending you messages all the time. I'm just a very big fan. We know each other. Making himself out to be innocent, like he's shocked that she would react this way.
Damn, dude. Damn, dude.
People could tell things were getting serious, so they cleared up the area at the end there. That's what happened. After this incident, Kikihime ended up tweeting this, saying, "By the way, I'm done for the day with photos. Thanks for coming. I got assaulted by an old stalker and had a panic attack in front of hundreds of people, so honestly I feel disgusting and I don't know what to think. I will, unless it's illegal, release a photo of his face later with more details." Someone, of course, a smartass on Twitter, we love those, says, "Recommend filing a police report, take care," as if she didn't try doing that before, right? And then she says, "I talked to the police, they said I gotta go to the embassy." So that's exactly what happened according to her. She made a Twitter space 55 minutes long, in which she explained everything from start to finish, and it's the main source that was used for this entire video. She details how the staff of Comiket were fairly supportive, but when she said she wanted to call the police, they said you have to do that outside the expo. She definitely wanted to talk to the police about this because she quite literally got assaulted, but she opted to finish taking pictures with the photographers she hadn't seen for years first, before talking to the police. She said the police officer she spoke to was very understanding and very nice to her, but he pretty much told her what she had said in her post. He said, "We can't do anything because you're not a resident of Japan," and that she should go to her embassy, to the Austrian embassy, to report.
Damn, dude. Oh my goodness gracious me. Hey, Plant. Thank you for the followers, so welcome, welcome. Goddamn, dude. That's...
report this. That way, when and if it happens again, she can go to the police and say, "Hey, this happened, and my embassy can confirm that I already reported it once before." Very weird, wouldn't you say? Article 208 of the Penal Code, Act number 45 of 1907, clearly states when a person assaults another person without injuring the other person, which is exactly what happened. This was assault in every way. The person is punished by imprisonment for not more than 2 years, a fine of not more than 300,000 yen, penal detention, or a petty fine. At the airport, when they had put them both in different rooms, they had taken his information. And now this has happened again. Some people theorize that police is just too lazy to do their jobs. Definitely probable. But the more this happens to her, the more we understand why this is the dark side of Japan, why stalkers are able to roam so freely in the country, because there are practically no consequences. That's why the internet, more specifically the Japanese internet, has decided to take this into their own hands.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Alright, I'm kind of curious what the side of Japan is, doing.
Now, I don't know how, but they found the stalker's Twitter profile on the same day. His original Twitter account was Phoenix Rick, but it doesn't exist anymore because he changed his name immediately to Rick Phoenix, as if that's going to change anything. He also privated his account. People are on to him and they want to dispense their own sense of justice since the police doesn't want to do a single thing. They even found his alt account called Mirror Rick. They're finding everything about this guy. This post right here found out more about him, saying according to a certain source, the stalker of Kikihime at Comiket, or rather the person who sexually assaulted Kikihime, was a man known as Rick, who was famous for making appearances in dark baseball, dark walking, and other events, then running away without paying. And as you can see, he's right here with a different haircut. So overall, a great productive member of society, as you might guess from an obsessive stalker like this. Kikihime ended all this by saying, "With that, the topic is done. I'll move on, but knowledge is power." But she still tweeted the next day that she felt very dead inside, mentioning how her cat sitters sent her a video of her cats and that she misses them so dearly, wanting to go back home just to see them. And was asked by a fan, "Hey, would it be possible to make an emergency trip back home even for a day or two?" And then she said, "Absolutely not, sadly. Just hoping the days go by fast." So this not only ruined her day at Comiket, but might have just ruined her entire Japan trip. And it definitely serves to highlight not just the dangers of content creation due to stalkers, but it also highlights the dark side of Japan, this stalking epidemic that just seems to be very rampant, more so than usual. due to not only aspects of the culture that encourage it, but the fact that the police don't seem to take it seriously until it gets serious, aka someone gets hurt, which shouldn't happen. It shouldn't get to that point. But in any case, I wish Kikihime the best. I hope she never has to deal with that stalker or any other stalker ever again, and that more light can be shed on this unfortunate aspect found in some areas in Japanese culture, which is just being a very weird stalker. Of course, I still want to acknowledge that this is the minority of people in Japan, but it is rampant enough for it to be cause for concern, especially if you're a woman traveling abroad there by yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it.
Damn, dude, that is... I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty crazy. For 10 years, dude. And then he tried to, like... And then he, like, tried to grope her and everything and stuff like that, dude. Oh my god, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a big no-no. I don't really care, to be honest. This is a huge no-no or so. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to either watch out or so, if I ever live in Japan or so, or live with somebody over there in Japan. So damn, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. I'm gonna be honest with you. For 10 whole years, stalking this person for 10 years, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. Man, I could get 10 years of like overall, like that's just not right. That's just not cool whatsoever, you know. That's a big, you know, that's a big oofy, you know. Yeah. I'm glad at least like the Japanese side of the internet is definitely do something. Man, some people's marriages don't even last that long. The worst part about it is that this person isn't even a productive member of society over there. He literally like doesn't pay for the thing that he does or so, or the thing that he goes to attend to apparently. Like he just doesn't pay. I'm just like, damn, dude. That's pretty sad, I'm not gonna lie. He looks like a pretty old dude too as well. He looks like in his like what, late 30s or something like that. It kind of looks like it. Maybe in his 40s or so. I'll be honest with you, dude. That's the problem. That's also one of the problems too as well, like trying to give it like this is why I don't want to give as much information on the internet as much as possible. You give someone the smallest information or so on the internet, like I'm gonna be honest with you, they would take it a mile, to be honest. They will try to find out where you live. They'll try to find out, like, you know, your birthplace. They will try to find out, you know, fucking anything. Anything. They will try to learn anything about you, you know? So that's why I try to keep it, you know, as minimum as possible, you know? Very, very super minimum for me, you know? I'm not gonna show my face ever. You will never ever see me show my face whatsoever. So besides that, it's part of the VTuberness, you know. It's just not to show your face whatsoever. So I know there's like this whole weird trend or so that happens on Twitter sometimes, where some of the indie VTubers kind of show their faces or so. But I'm like, I'm not here to do that, you know. I'm here to be a VTuber. I'm here to entertain, you know, have fun. But yeah, I will do cosplay in the future. I will definitely do some cosplay, but I will not be showing my face whatsoever. So no face whatsoever. You guys will not be seeing that. So yeah, no, people are crazy. People are definitely crazy. You know, even the Western side has some pretty crazy ones as well. So I've heard stories. So. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of the video. I just wanted to take a look at this specifically because I thought this was kind of crazy. For 10 whole years stalking this girl, this poor girl. It sucks. I'm gonna be honest with you. That is terrifying, to be honest. I remember knowing someone that looked through Facebook pictures to find out the area of someone was at. Yeah. This is the only reason why I just don't like to say anything. Like, no information of a lot of personal things. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And I guess I'm gonna go stalk someone, I guess. Nah, jokes aside or so, don't do this shit, to be honest. Like, don't do this to your Oshis, don't do this for your idols, you know, don't do this for anything, you know? Like, come on, man. Like, just be a little bit self-aware. And yeah. That's the end of the video. And